I don't believe we've had the pleasure of your company before, Mr.
Salas. Will Salas.
Philippe Weiss. You must come from time.
You could say I'm gambling my inheritance.
You don't have a garden, Mr. Salas?
I assumed I was amongst friends.
Bet you 50 years. You must be young. When you've been 25 for 85 years like I have, and knowing only a random act of violence can take your life, you learn to appreciate what you have.
And you seem to have a lot to appreciate. I call.
Of course, some think what we have is unfair. The time difference between zones.
I've heard that.
But isn't this just the next logical step in our evolution? And hasn't evolution always been unfair? It's always been survival of the fittest. Raise you another 2 centuries. This is merely Darwinian capitalism. Natural selection.
Absolutely. The strong survive. And I think your hand is weak. I call.
It appears you're all in, Mr. Salas. "13 figures. Well played."
Wow. That was powerful. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Man Cave. We are Corey and Hemp, and we listen to the Much About Nothing podcast, the show where we give expert takes and good-hearted debates. We talk ball, anything and everything else. Today, we'll be discussing time. If you got something to say, put it into the comments. If you are new to the pod, greetings. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, smash that bell. If you are already a part of the fam, welcome back. Please like, share, and comment. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let's get into it. Hey, before we get into it though, man, I need a movie review real quick, man. We done went into a different genre. Give me a quick movie review of the one that you just put up there.
The movie review of In Time, it's a great movie. It's always if I had to put it up there, I mean, I definitely think it's worth watching. Definitely, it has an interesting concept on time. I think the best thing with it is that it plays on really time as a currency. So basically, it is really just talking about like the problems with like greed and capitalism and stuff like that. But it plays it much deeper in and revolves time and livelihood around money. So a person to be broke, they might be deaf, and that's kind of what it is right now. If you ain't got no money, you don't really have no life. You don't have no status. You know what I'm saying? In the world, you're gonna suffer because of that. So it makes it more relative to the person that's watching it. If you see a person that's working a 9 to 5 and they don't go to work, they might not get it. You know what I'm saying? Living paycheck to paycheck is not living paycheck to paycheck. You living one day to one day. You got enough hours on the day on your wrist. You know what I'm saying? That's your rent for the day. You looking at your time like if I spend this, I might die. You know, like and it begins. I ain't gonna really mess it up for people that ain't watched it, but
Well, don't
some
spoil it.
kind
Well,
of time.
just tell us the concept is this: the concept that time is currency. Is that the
Yeah,
way it works? That's the
yeah,
concept of it.
yeah. That's the concept of it. So the problems is that it's time zones and it's different. It's different statuses of people that's beneath and then people that's above that have several years, millions of years, and there's people down below that only have 24 hours. And
Okay, what's the name of the movie?
in time,
And-
good movie, good movie. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right. All right. So it's a good segue into what we're about to be talking about today. And
yeah.
so we're gonna be talking about time. All right.
Time.
Huh. For
Is
the per-
there enough time in a day? Are you gambling with your time? Are you tossing that time up? You know what I'm saying? Hoping to get a straight against three of a kind. Whew, that boy drew that thing close, man. Golly.
Ooh, man. I don't know. What you think about it?
Is there enough time? I think time is time. I think the amount of time you got in a day is the amount of time you got in a day. Now, how we spend it and how we use our time is all the different kind of answer. Everybody got choices about what they're going to do with their time and how they're going to spend it. But at the end of the day, it's 24 hours in a day. If it was 25, you would spend that time doing something else. And regardless of 26, 27, whatever, I think time is relative. I tell people all the time, like, it's hard to explain time because the way we experience it is very different. You know, the way you feel it. You know, when people say time is flying, well, it might be flying for you, maybe not for somebody else. Time might be going slow. Sometimes a person look at the same time, be like, man, golly, I'm ready to get up out of here. They want time to speed up. I remember when I was a child, like going through my time, time was slow, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get through school. Like, man, I ain't gonna never grow up. Now it's like, golly, I'm growing up too fast. My kid 6. I got a 6-year old, man. I thought she was born yesterday. Time flies, man. I'm just saying, man. It speeds up. So I think time is time, but the way we perceive it is very different. Very
All right.
different.
All right. Let's get a little bit intimate about this. Tell me what your time looks like in your 24 hours. What does your 24 hours look like?
Well, right now I'm on 10-hour shift, so it's kind of rapid. So I lose 2 hours of my day. So I have to find ways to make up for the 2 hours. But it kind of saved 2 hours because my daughter's on spring break, so I don't have to pick her up. Usually, I pick my daughter up when I get off work. So I begin my day right now. Currently, I'm just talking about currently. I get up at 4:30. I'm at work by 5:20.
Close to the mic.
Yeah, by 5:20, I'm at work and I start work at 6. I get to work. I get off work at 4:30. 4:30, I get in my car around somewhere like 4:45. I'm on. You still can't hear me?
Now you good.
All right, I'm sorry. Like I say, I begin my day at 4:30, and I'm at work about 5:20. I'm in work like 6 o'clock. I get out at 4:30. That's 10 hours. So usually, depending on the day, Mondays is probably the easiest day of the week. That's the week that I probably have the least amount scheduled. Tuesday is get more ramped up. I have Bible study. So after I get out of work, I get home, I get prepared for Bible study, get ready, see the kids, find out what we're gonna do for the day as far as dinner, and then I'm off to Bible study. After I get out of Bible study, as soon as I get out of Bible study, most of the time help know I get on my call, find out what we're gonna do as far as the episode. And then after we get the episode down in order, typical. This just today's typical. I get up here and I start working on that. But depending on what the wife got going on, I might have to take some duties. Duties usually because I have 2 kids. So when the wife she either taking one and I got to take the other, or she maybe be nice and take both. But that's solely based on what she thinks necessary. Hopefully she take both sometimes to help me out. But sometimes I got to be understanding that that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a handful to get one a bath while the other one need changing and bottle and all of those things of that nature. I couldn't imagine doing it with just one. If it was just me by myself, I don't know how I would make it. But yeah, that's just my typical day. You want to get into Wednesday, I got children Bible study, I got Thursday, I got haircut, and then I usually got meetings, and then Friday it's a little bit easier, but Saturday, Sunday it ramps up on the weekend as far as like getting ready for stuff with church. So most of the things is taxing. It's work, church, and family. As balancing that time is just a juggle. You know,
Hmm.
a
So
lot
how
of
you so how you feel about that? Do you feel like do you feel like you don't have enough time? You feel
no.
like
I often sacrifice sleep. I tell people like I do not get a lot of. I don't get a lot of rest. Like people, they might think I do because I mean I seem kind of lively, but usually that's coffee. But I probably I don't know somewhere between 4 hours, sometimes less than that. I don't get a lot of hours of sleep, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I got to sacrifice that joint. I think it'll get a way out when the kids get older, things slow down. I would like to think my pops went through a lot, you know what I'm saying, when he was my age. Just didn't see it, didn't notice it. But I don't know. I think it's often that time for everybody. I think everybody deal with the same priorities, but versus like what you're going to cut. You take on responsibility, it's a cost. It's a price that's you got to give, and most of that is time. The main thing you have to sacrifice in life is time.
hmm. So all right, so in a
Hmm.
perfect world, right? Do you think that like the time that you have that you're spending right now, do you feel good about all the obligations you have, or you wish you could change things? You think it's cool to rob time from sleep? I mean,
No, I mean, if I don't see no other way around it. That's why I say, like I said, my priorities is God, family, and church. I can't sacrifice time from family. I can't sacrifice time from church or God. These responsibilities that I took on and where I'm needed and where I'm called to be. So at the end of the day, if I got to sacrifice sleep for those things, that's just what I got to do. I mean,
all right, so and you
mhm.
travel, right? So you travel two
No, it's
hours
not
to
2 hours to work. So what I'm saying, I picked up 2 more hours.
I'm just saying
Yeah,
it's to and fro, to
yeah,
and
it's
fro,
about 2 hours.
to
Yeah,
and fro is
so that's
2 hours.
it cost me about 12 hours right now. Being on tens, it's about 12 hours of my life.
Okay, so throughout the week, that's 10 whole hours.
Throughout the week, yeah, being on tens, it's 10 s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
I mean
ten
you
s
lose
hours.
10. I mean,
Yeah, oh
in
yeah, yeah,
traveling.
yeah.
Okay, so
But
you
it's
losing ten
actually two
hours
more
in
hours
travel.
of work too. So really, I don't know. It's usually the same 2 hours don't change from what's name. It's really just 2 hours extra work a day. So really ain't
Okay,
nothing trying. The travel gonna be what the travel is. Everybody travels to work. I'm pretty sure everybody spend about 2 hours there a day getting to and from work. If you're gonna count like getting up, getting dressed,
no, I mean in actuality, you probably
yeah.
spend even more than that. Like if you really want to think about the time that you take to get ready for work, right? You got the time it takes to get ready for work, right? Then you got the time that um, you're
Mm-hmm.
leaving from work outside of the travel. You know, you gotta
Mm-hmm.
get undressed and all types of stuff. What is the whole commitment to work? Like, if you really had to add in the commitment to work, like how much of your time is that commitment to
I
work?
told you most of the time.
You got 2 hours of travel, you got 10 hours of work. Do you think there's a between an hour between the prep for work and getting back and
I
getting
said it's a little
off of
bit
work,
between
like getting
12.
out of your
Right now,
workplace?
about being on 10 hour shifts, yeah, it's somewhere between 12 hours, committed 12 hours. Because I get up at, like I said, 4:30. So I don't get home to probably like 5. That's usually if I don't have to pick up my daughter. If I had to pick up my daughter, it'd be later than that. And then I got to go past my house to go to Portsmouth. So after I pick her up, I get home
Hmm.
probably like 5:15, 5:30. That's if no traffic there. Now people in Virginia can't drive, y'all. And that's something that's a problem. Cause every single day it's an accident on that Jamesburg. I mean that Monitor Merrimack, man. It's like crazy, man. Every single day. It was a little better with traffic when I leave
Hmm.
earlier, so I don't know. I'm not to still work out.
All right, so
Tawana, I don't work any
man,
Sundays. I haven't worked a Sunday in I want to say 4 years. About 4 years ago I made that declaration that I never work a Sunday. I used to work more than I work now. I used to work probably like 78 hours a week. Now I probably don't touch probably over 48. If I'm not on tens, I work 48. It's not a normal thing. I'd be all tens after this week and be back to my regular schedule.
Is that is do you think it's worth it? Do you feel good about it? With
Uh,
changing?
it's really not. It's really not that taxing. It's just taxing now. So like what I was saying, like the schedule last week is not really a particular all the time. So time speed up, time slow down. So you want to go into like December. I don't really have nothing to do in December. Like December, I go on like vacation and all that stuff. I have a lot of time available to me in December. It's just during this time, like resurrect last week is Resurrection Sunday. With me as a leader in the church, that's probably the most stringent time because it's a lot of things that come on. And because my child got sick and sickness came on, things got pressed back a lot harder because I wasn't able to put in that many practices because my child had hand, foot, and mouth. When they got hand, foot, and mouth, I can't bring my child around the other kids. So obviously I got to cancel practice. Having to cancel practices made it so I got to schedule more practices in a more compressed time. And that's what you got last week. So I had to practice like at least about three, four times during the revival. So it circumstances make cases. You already know. I mean, plenty of times like situations come up where we gotta move things around. The way we move them, it often put things in more stressful positions. But after I get out of this week, and maybe next week, I don't know. They got a job that's coming up that I might have to do, but he gonna spread around that overtime, so it might not get as much as it is right now. It's just the way it is right now. I'm the only person that can wear X-rays. What I do is I'm a pipe welder, right? But I will high critical pipe joints. They call subsafes. These are critical pipe joints that's on the boat. It's only a certain amount of people that can weld these pipes that have been trained to weld. Now I'm the only one that has a harness certification, and the safety made it so all tanks are harness qualified. And because they made it this way, nobody else was harness qualified but me because I'm a contract. So I got to go up there and do all these pipe joints. They usually they would share it around, but I'm the only one. So because they're trying to get everybody harness qualified, that's a long list of people trying to get harness qualified. You get what I'm saying? So it's gonna take them a while to get those people harness qualified. So for the time being, I'm the only person that can weld it, but they got to get it done because man, so it's not so much of this my normal schedule. It's just like I say, circumstances make cases, man. These times happen. I'm pretty sure you
Okay.
deal with the same thing. I mean,
Here goes another.
it's crucial times during your life.
Oh yeah, man. But yeah, man. I'm struggling with it. I don't even know. I'm struggling with it, man. I personally don't even feel like it's all the way even worth it sometimes. I don't know who came up with the 40-hour work week in itself. Like like it's to me it's such a I don't even like the 40-hour work week. Now I
Yeah.
work way more than 40 hours, but uh, I don't know, man. I'm at a point in my life. I don't know if it's worth. I don't even know if it's really worth it.
Mm,
Like I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, you can buy
mhm.
everything but time. So what good does it do you to to obtain all this currency,
I
but
ain't
at the
think I
end of
working for
the,
the
be at
money.
the end of the day,
It's
it
not
doesn't
even
fuel
really
you.
about the money. Like at the end of the day, I
It got to be. Then
because
what
that's
is
what
it
they asked me to
for?
do. The
Then what is
job
it
asked
for?
me to come to work because they needed me to do this job, and I either could have said no, or I could say yeah. I could say it's a choice in the matter. I could say no, and then get another job somewhere else. But I like the money, so I made the sacrifice to keep going. At the end of the day, but nah, I make enough money with 40 hours. I don't need to work overtime. But if they ask me to work and they need a job done, I'm either going to work it or not. So that's a choice that you make. It's just like you look at it for the hours. Like if your job tell you they need you to stay late to sell out this contract, what you gonna do? It's the same thing. Same thing. It's just I get paid by the hour. You probably get paid in
Yeah.
a different circumstance. But at the end of the day, You're not staying late for the money. You're staying late to close out them contracts because that's what needs to be done. So I'm staying late to close out this package of wells because that's what needs to be done. But it's not. I make enough money in 40 hours. If I wouldn't, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be good to schedule your finances around overtime.
You know, like it's if you really stop and think about it, whenever people get sick or they find themselves in a place where they need medical treatment, they don't care what the
Mm,
cost is. They don't care what the cost is. They will pay
mm,
it to get well because they're trying to
mm,
buy more time. And so, but the thing is, like, we give up our good years. We give up our good years, and we'll pay in our later years, in which are not so good, for time that we're spending right now going to work. It's a foolish system that I don't think that we even really even think about. Like, I mean, how good is it if you're spending 60? I sometimes I look at my kids, and they just look like they grow like from the time I
mm,
went to work. Like, you have to miss so much. I mean, and then when you even think about it, we've been conditioned like this since we were little. Ever since we were 5, they conditioned us for the
mm.
40-hour work week. When they put you in kindergarten, they're conditioning you for the 40-hour work week. And it's been this way from 5 until I'm
Mm.
almost 40 now. And you know, and then if you're lucky, when you get into your 60s and 70s, then you can stop working if you've saved enough from the time that you've given.
Yeah.
It's a real thought. It's a real thought experiment that nobody ever talks about. Nobody even thinks about. But it doesn't seem like it's rigged, bro.
I just don't see no other way around it. I mean, it's like this. All right, so let's say if the person, all right, I don't eat McDonald's no more. Let's say BJ's, right? Let's say the people that own BJ's, where I get my whole food from, let's say they want to start working 40 hours. And BJ is going to have to hire more people, and it might not equal out as far as cost. But I need somebody to work at BJ's for me to go there to get my food. I need the same people that's producing this product that I'm going to buy to work their hours, and I need those same people that's producing the seed to grow them crops to work their hours. At the end of the day, we're working these hours to provide a service. Like me right now, I provide a service. I sacrifice my time for currency, right? And that boat need to get built, and that boats get built to defend our country, which I mean, some people care about, some people don't. But at the end of the day, it's it's used, it's going towards something. But everybody's doing something as far as a service, unless you're making enough currencies to get out of that, to get out of this loop. Yeah, it is a problem. I mean, I think Joe Rogan said it best. I mean, you should work hard, the hardest you can, to get out of the cycle, to get out of this cycle of working every day. That should be your whole. You should work like you're going to die because your life does really depend on getting out of that cycle. Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, I get what you're saying about being in service or anything else. One of the things that I told Tiff, if you go to work, no matter what you do, you are working towards somebody else's
Hmm.
passive income.
Hmm.
No ifs, ands, buts about it. It is somebody else's passive income when
Yeah,
you're going to work.
but that's just little.
You don't always know. You don't
Hmm.
always know whose it is, but it's somebody else's passive income when you're going to work. And I don't know, man. I hope somebody I was hoping somebody in the chats could give us some conversation towards this, man. Because I mean, I definitely don't have the answer. I don't think I have
Let's look at the
any.
NBA though. The NBA right now, right? They even millionaires, right? So let's say Steph Curry for the certain, but he makes his owners more money, right? They make way more money than him, but
Mhm.
he can look at the money that they make versus the money. But somebody's gonna, I don't know. I guess who you think deserves more? Do you think Steph Curry deserves more than the owner of the Warriors? I think. I mean, you put a high price on labor, so it gets down to this question: who you think is more important? The person that owns the pencil company or the person that puts the lead in the pencil?
I mean, I get
Yeah.
that concept, but
I don't care what you do, it's gonna benefit somebody or they wouldn't pay you for
Yeah, man. But see, this is the reason why when
Yeah.
we have these debates, these socialist
Mm.
debates and things of that nature, man. Like it comes down to like I thought about this and Tiff and I had a conversation about this a couple of days ago. I want you to stop and think about what happened during the
Hmm.
pandemic where these billion like Amazon like Bezos, he made a killing.
Hmm.
He made a killing. And then in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking though, I wonder how many employees that he could have took a little less and maybe gave them a
Hmm.
dollar more. I mean, because really, you at a point now where there's a such thing as not being able to spend all of that money. It's just not enough time.
Yeah.
There's not enough things. Like we're beyond that. And so at some point, you got to have a rule on it. Everything else outside of economics has rules for
Hmm.
things like this. I didn't even know this because I don't gamble, but they put limits on how many times you can place a bet
Yeah.
on certain things. Do you understand why? Do you understand why?
The limited amount of money you can win.
No, it's not about how much you can win. It's you have an unfair advantage when you have more opportunities to play at
Oh,
it than someone else.
that makes sense.
It manipulates it
Mm.
manipulates the games, and that is what we're seeing in the world right now. Like, yeah, man, like this billionaire thing is stupid.
I don't think I see. We
It's stupid.
I'm out of that realm. At the end of the day, I'm getting to the point of like it doesn't even matter about the billionaire thing. Like if you erase that, you'll get what I mean. People have to work. It's no if nobody went to work,
Okay.
let's say the whole world did not go to work tomorrow.
Hmm.
Could the world function? Yeah.
Could it function?
How?
Yeah. Maybe, maybe not.
So
Maybe not the way that it
this
functions
is what
right
I'm
now.
saying. Like, how would you get your
The
food?
world would not. It would
How
not fall. It
how
wouldn't
would you
fall.
get your
It
food?
wouldn't fall off
How
the
would you get your
axis.
food?
How would I get it?
How would you get it?
I don't know, man. I probably go in a
I'm
bad
saying when
situation.
that runs out, because there's nobody getting food to make the stuff that you have in your pantry. Let's say when all of that runs out, how you're going to go? Let's necessary good. Nobody goes to the water company to get your water to your house. Nobody at the light place. Nobody's doing none of that. The world just stops moving, and all the things that you take,
Mm.
like I'm pretty sure you probably don't notice, but these things are it's somebody behind that that's giving you the stuff that's necessary. Like somebody made all that capitalism made all that stuff behind you. Everything that's behind you is made by capitalism. So I'm saying when you stop, even the clothes you have on right now, all of this bit,
Yeah,
let's say all of this stop, nobody worked at all. How would you get these things?
yeah. Listen,
All
I
right.
definitely understand that everything you see in my background was a sacrifice
Yeah.
of my
But
life.
I'm saying
Every single thing, but
I'm
everything
not even
I
talking about
understand it.
yours.
I get
I'm
it.
not talking about
Every
yours.
single thing back
I'm
there
talking about
is
somebody
it
else.
is. It's a
Somebody
sacrifice of
sacrificed to
my
make
life.
that. Somebody else sacrificed to make that.
And that sacrifice, I sacrificed
Yeah, but
time
they
in order to
sacrificed
purchase
time in
it.
order to make it. That's what I'm saying at the
Okay,
end of the
that
day,
was the
what I'm
boss.
getting to, if nobody went to work, not even just you, nobody, how would you eat? Because there's no
How
food
would I
line. If
eat?
nobody's up there getting the crops and shipping it, no transportation, no nothing. How are you getting the food? You can say you're going to food line. I'm saying nobody's there working the cash rush. No food's there. None of that.
I get.
Yeah,
I
people
understand. I
have to
mean,
work.
not to be obtuse here, not to be obtuse here. I got a particular skill set that I'm pretty sure I wouldn't starve to death.
Hold on.
I have a particular skill set. However, I understand the
Yeah, but
point
I
that you're
want to
trying to
get into
make
what
here.
Tiff trying to
The
make.
point
Tiff
is,
says grow it. All right. So eventually, what people are going to do, they're going to grow a surplus. And what I would do after I grow enough of it, I'm going to sell it to somebody else that can't grow. And guess what we're going to be doing then? Capitalism. We're going to be right
the
back to
barter
capital. It
system.
still don't matter. It's operating around the same. Capitalism, the only thing is a person making a machine that can do it better. So if I can create a machine that can grow it better and sell it at a surplus, It's the same as that system. If I make the machine that can get these
Okay.
crops to you better, I'm going to make more money and I will become a billionaire. It's the same as that thing. So your problem is not with the people that's making the stuff. The problem with at the end of the day, people have to work. If people don't work, at the end of the day, society would not function. It's just it.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I think
You
that's what they
tell me an
want you to believe.
alternative. Tell me an
But
alternative.
trust and believe. But I'm just telling you, I believe right now there are places right now in the world that we don't know about, that we don't see on a regular day basis, that don't use cards, don't use any of that stuff. They
Yeah.
hunt, they gather, they do all the types of stuff. They
Mhm.
live their lives however they want to live it,
That
and
that
it does
happens.
not
I'm
have
not
to
saying
have
that it's
capitalism.
places like that. We could say
So your thought process and the only thing that works is
no.
capitalism is
Let's
not
say
true.
that. No, I'm
Like it
saying
is
that's
not true.
undesirable. You wouldn't want to live in those places. At the end of the day, you wouldn't want to live in
No,
those places. It's places, it's tribes in Africa
no,
right
that's
now
what
where they do none of that. They live as a tribe and a community, but we're not like them. And to mistake us for that, and that's
yeah.
the way that is. It's just, it's absurd. I mean, it's fantasy.
I'm saying this, man. Like what you're talking about, you going on an extreme here, but this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there are people who work for jobs
Hmm.
that don't pay enough for them to meet all
Hmm.
their obligations. In return, what they do is they work either overtime or
Hmm.
get another job in order to meet
Hmm.
their obligations. And still in doing that, they are one disaster away from
Hmm.
starvation, from homelessness. Now I ask you, does that make sense? Like knowing that when you know that we all have a finite time. I think it takes a very cruel, because I don't think that Bezos, I don't think any of these billionaires, I don't think you get to a billion by being stupid. But I do think you get there by being cruel. Because if you realize that I have extracted, because they're not printing money. Every dollar they make, they're taking it from some other person. Knowing that you're not paying them a wage that will pay for it, even the products that they're selling. I think it's nothing worse than seeing somebody selling a product they
Hmm.
cannot afford. And then when you add in the fact that, okay, we all have finite time. I got them working 40 hours. I know they can't survive off of that wage. They're gonna have to either do overtime. They have to do this. And at the time, we have people like you and I that have a discussion, and one of us will take the side of the billionaire and say
It's not. I'm not
it's
taking sides.
capitalism. People got to go to work.
You confusing with me saying taking sides. No, I'm explaining reasons why things are the way they are. I'm not taking sides. At the end of the day, if it was my way, everybody would live and never have to work. But I'm saying that is a childish way to look at the world. I do that's going down to a bottom. Like my daughter, us like believing that money grows on trees. Right now, she has no idea how everything in her life happens. It happens for a reason, though. She has no idea that I go to work every day and do all these things, but she just sees that I'm saying these things happen for a reason. If you can tell me right now, do you want to live like a tribal African? And that I would be okay with it. But no, you enjoy capitalist society. Right now, you can sacrifice all your money right now, sell everything that you have, and live without working. All the things you complain about time right now, you can sell all you have right now and get a small trailer, live in there with you and Tiff and your kids. You can raise them from now. Why don't you? Because you enjoy the fruits of
So
capitalism.
why don't?
You can sell all you own right now. I can sell every asset that I have and probably can live for a couple of years off of that money in a small minimum amount. And there's some people that do it. Grow my own crops. I could survive that way. Quite often, it's people that do it. I could show you clips of people that live that life. The question is, do you want that life? And I'm saying you do not, because you can do it right now. Hell, you gonna tell me right now you don't gotta work. You can sell all your assets and live on a minimum amount a year. Grow all your little vegetables in your little garden in your backyard. Don't go out there, got your own generator. that you pump and live off of, probably off the same food that you cook. You can use that, decomposite it, and make energy out of it and everything. You can do these things, but you choose not to because you like the lifestyle that you live. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's reasons behind these things. It's not as simple as saying I'm not choosing sides. If I had it my way, I wouldn't want nobody to work. I'm saying these are reasons until you put somewhere else. I just see the way society works. And I see the way it works. And I don't, just because I don't see a solution, if somebody else put together a better solution, I'll go with that. But no, I don't see it. And I'm just posing all, I'm posing critiques to what you say at work. I'm saying, nah, I see problems with that. That's it. But I'm not choosing to say, I don't care. At the end of the day, I do. At the end of the day, I really do not care about the joint because I see no fixes. I don't see no way. I think things have been this way since the beginning of time. That's just the way it is. We could change it, sure. But society will have to change in a way that I don't believe they can. If I think everybody could be selfless, everybody can do for others, and but no, I think that true. I don't think we view the world the same way as the aspect of evil. The majority of people, I don't even think is a limited amount. I think majority of the people care about their self interest than the next man. I think that's just majority of people. And you can say I'm wrong, but you go outside right now, you stand at 7-Eleven and ask somebody for $5.
Okay. All right. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you go on this thing, right? And I don't agree that the if I disagree with the way it is, then I should have nothing and live off the land. That I think that's an
But
extreme.
I have to
That's an
go
extreme
extreme.
deviation
I
from
have to
what we're
go to
talking
extremes for
about.
you to see it.
No, I don't think you have to go extreme. I don't think you have to go extreme. I think that for most things in life, if you just switch words around, if you switch words around, it'll
Mm,
put it in perspective for you. So let's just say instead
mm,
of money, right? Let's use something like
mm.
medication. Let's get rid of money and let's just change
Okay.
the word to medication, right? If we needed medication to live,
We do need medication leave. Some people
right?
do.
And a certain amount of people had billions
Mm,
of the medication, and other people did not
yeah.
have any of the medication, would you still say it's a good thing that this person has all the medications, knowing that it is
There
costing
you go
people their
again with saying
lives?
it's a good thing. I don't. You keep putting me on this side. I'm not choosing. I'm saying it's this way, and this is the reason why it's this way. But you saying it like I'm for it or against it. No, I'm not choosing sides. I'm saying it's this way, and this the reason. What you saying right now? That's the actually the way the world is right now. It's a surplus of medication. They have a surplus of medication right now that they can give out to heal a whole bunch of people. There's people dying in Africa for like penicillin. We have a surplus. Well, it's a shortage kind of right now, but we have surpluses of penicillin. We can make it, sure, and give it out to all those people and probably heal them. But people don't, and it's mostly for greed. But you could take it, but then you gonna drive you. I'm saying just thinking that you. I think you believe like if you do certain things, it's not gonna have a reaction. I think some things can have, and you don't look at the reaction. Like I think you see, like people argue with capitalism. I'm saying, yeah, I'm not for capitalism. I'm saying capitalism is the best thing we have. Next to socialism, I'm saying capitalism is better than socialism. Now you look at all the things that are evils of capitalism, how bad it is. I'm not saying capitalism is good. I'm saying socialism is worse than those things. And you have not begun to look at the problems with socialism. You just look at capitalism as a problem. Let's just go to socialism, but not looking at the problems with socialism at all. You do. If I ask you right now, what's one
I
problem with
think
socialism? Anybody right now tell me one problem with socialism? You can tell me 1,000 problems with capitalism, and I would agree with those problems. But tell me one problem with socialism.
it doesn't incentivize people having to work 40 hours. It doesn't incentivize people having to do
You
things to
haven't
make
named the
more
problem.
money. It incent. I'm
I'm
just
saying,
telling you that's what
give
it
me
is. It doesn't
one problem.
incentivize. That's what.
That's what I'm saying. You have never
That's the
looked at the
problem.
problems of socialism.
That's the problem. No, the problem, because what
Yeah,
you're going to say is you're going to say if people aren't incentivized to
yeah.
create innovation, there will be no innovation. They'll just do what the minimum is,
Hmm.
and I'm okay with that. Like I am okay with that, but I don't think that's the case because again, I like a lot of aspects of our lives are socialist, and we love it and
Hmm.
enjoy it, and it is fine and fair. This is what I'm saying, Corey. My thought process is this. Now that I'm thinking, I mean, like when I decided to talk about time, like I was sitting here thinking, like throughout history, we have
Hmm.
fought over things. Some to be trivial, some to be
Hmm.
very important. I think that we get distracted by things, but I'm gonna tell you, I think the reason why that we never have a conversation about billionaires because billionaires control everything. They control the media. They control what you see, what you hear, this, that, and the third. And God forbid a conversation to be held about, hey, you guys are terrible. Like you shouldn't hoard
Hmm.
all the resources. Down to it is, I truly believe this. I do believe we all have to work. I do believe that, but I'm not so sure that we all have to work 40 plus hours. I don't think we do, Corey.
It be short,
Hmm.
be shortened back. Let's say we shorten. Let's say we cut it down to 20.
Okay.
If we cut it down to
Sound good to me.
20 and made it voluntary for people to work 40, what do you think people will work?
Say what?
Let's say we say you only are required to work 20 hours a week, but we make it voluntary for 20, 40. We'll let you work 40.
Well,
What do you
I
think more?
guess see we're in an interesting dynamic here. No, no, I'm serious because
Mm.
there's multiple variables to it, right? Things lately have not been going down in prices; they've been going up
Yeah, because of
because
inflation.
people. No, man, I hate the word inflation. I hate the word
You can hate it.
economy.
It's a true
I
thing.
hate
You don't think
no,
inflation is true?
no, no. It's a simple concept of scarcity. That's really what it comes down to. It's when anytime you make something more scarce and people need it, then it costs more. Like the fact of the matter is, it's probably you would think this, right? This is how they have us thinking. We
Hmm.
think that throughout time things become more expensive, and they tell you it's because of the employees being more expensive, and then they make
I don't
things more
think.
expensive. But the real truth of the matter is, I've never understood this because I believe that when technology gets better, it becomes more efficient. Because I watch a lot of Shark Tank. It seems like when they
Mhm.
get enough money and things become, they sell enough of it and they get new technology, things become cheaper to make.
But it's one thing that doesn't change:
What doesn't change?
resources. It's
What do you mean?
resources to
So,
make the. It's resources that make the thing. So most things would get traded are resources. At the end of the day, resources on get consumed, not changed. Like let's say one resource, oil. So you can make a car. You can make a lot of cars, and they can make 1,000 cars. But the one thing cannot be made is oil. At the end of the day, that's a resource that get consumed. So a
I
person
ain't
that
even sure
owns
about that.
oil, well, let's say aluminum, metals, precious metals, it's a lot of things. I'm talking about these things. Like your laptop is made of something. It has
Mm-hmm.
a substance. It's made of something. Somebody has it doesn't matter what a computer can do. Somebody has to do that work of innovating that. It's you're going to always have human beings involved in the process. You can't X that out. It's you have to have a human being to watch it, human being to reset it, to do everything. I mean, you can try as you must. I mean, but eventually humans are needed to an aspect. I mean, I like what's the name comments here, man. And it's Todd comments to say if you can name one nation that truly practices socialism, because I can name a lot of nations that moved on from it, and a lot of people that hate socialism. I see a lot of horribles, like people starving to death because of socialism. I really, I do not believe that you have actually looked at socialism. I'm really true. I think I do not. I think you heard, and it's a nice idea, but you have not looked at the history of socialism. throughout the unit, like Venezuela, Russia, Soviet
Hey,
Union, Russia, all these people.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
whisper something to you. You ready for this?
yeah.
History is written by the victors, and what you think you know of history is
Mm.
only the interpretation of the one who won. So I have no idea if it's good. I have no idea. I don't
Yeah.
know.
What about the people that live there?
Neither do you.
I'm saying, what about the
Neither
people
do
that
you.
live through it? I can
Man,
believe somebody else's testimony that have lived through socialism. It's not that long ago that Fidel Castro was living and he did socialism. So I can look at people that came from there and their testimony about living there. You can't make that aspect of
I can ask
somebody wrote
people,
a book.
Corey, we can ask people right now what they think about Joe Biden. They'll say terrible things about him. I can ask them what they think about Donald Trump. They'll say terrible things. You really have no idea whether something is good. You don't know. Like, I mean, really, if you really stop and think about it, everything that you see on that television,
You don't
some
believe there's no
billionaire
truth to
decided.
any imperfection.
I'm saying there's no way of verifying because
So
the truth of the
it's
matter, the
not,
truth
it's
of
no
the matter,
truth then.
it's possible that it's not because I know this right now. What do you think? Like, what is like Africa? Like, I had a conversation with Aaron in here. He was telling me what Africa was like. It wasn't a bunch of little kids with flies flying around their heads where he was. You know what I mean? Like, it's whatever it is, whatever people tell you that it is. Like, it's a regular city out there. It's a regular city. So
I believe it's regular city, but you don't believe it's poor people in Africa.
nah, man, I believe it's poor people in America.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
they say that is not poor people there that need
No,
help.
but what
It's
I'm
just
saying to you, I'm saying
ridiculous assertion.
no, what I'm saying is, man, like here goes the thing, man. The way that media works is it is based off the lens that they want to show you.
I know
So
that.
what?
Why would I
So to
say
sit
that
here,
ain't true?
so to sit here and say that it's so terrible when I've seen socialism myself, like I
It's
see
not
like
just
truly.
news though. You going on one aspect. Do you think news is the only information out about socialism?
No, man, I
News
know
is the
this.
only. The media is the only people that put out this.
I know the military. That is a socialist construct, and it is as innovative, and it is the greatest. It is the greatest in the world.
How's the
It is.
money getting there? How does the military get the money? You acting like the
It's the
military.
same process. It's the same process, brother.
They built the money off of capitalism. America makes money off capitalism to pay the military. The military is not solely, they do not gain any money. The military has not gained any money. America gains money through capitalism and pays the military. So that's not socialism. They operate through socialism. That's a program. But that is not, they, they're not built up. The military didn't get that big off of being socialism. They didn't gain any revenue from that. The revenue is built through capitalism. So that's false. What you're
Okay.
saying right there is not true. The
Okay.
military has not gained a dime. They gained that money off of capitalism. They took the money and passed it through socialism. But that's just like any socialist program. And that's what I'm saying. Name a country that has built their finances through socialism. One country that has gained resources and is a predominant country in the world today that acts on socialism. Neither one. And that's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to say to you is this: I know that when I was in the Marine Corps, I would go to the chow hall. There was food there.
Yeah.
I would go, and I had a bed, and I had AC, and they had all the things that I need.
You never asked why that was. You
I
never
never
asked
had to
like
ask-
why
I
is
never
this?
asked that.
And
I
that's
never
why I
had to
say
ask that.
it's
I never
around
had to
the
ask
same
it
logic
because
as my
see,
daughter saying it's a bed in there and there's food in the kitchen, and she never asked
but
like how I got
okay,
there. That I had to work.
and the obligation that I had to get those things was, I had to go to work. I had to fight their enemies or whatever it is, whatever they want me to do, whether it was training, whatever it is they wanted me to do. That was my obligation. This was my pay, right?
Mhm.
And they paid me. They didn't pay me an incredibly amount of money. It was a lot of money. Actually, I remember it was actually less than what I was getting at Wendy's, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
But they gave me some money to do it, and and it worked.
Mhm.
And you know how long it's been working? Since the 1700s.
Yeah.
It's been working since the 1700s, Corey, and nobody's complaining about it.
I'm not saying anything wrong with it. Let's say, all right, let's say the military is right there, the same way you said. And let's say again, go back to my same idea. If nobody in America worked, how would your
I
military
didn't
be?
say nobody
Uh,
had to work.
I'm
That's
saying
what I said.
that's what I'm saying. Because I'm saying capitalism builds the military. Right now, the Newport News shipyard works on the ships and builds the ship. Right. If Newport News was not there, how would they build the ships? If capitalism was not there to build the ships, how would they build the ships? If won't nobody there to put your what's the food packages that you eat? What they call MRIs? Won't nobody there to put that food in that pack? Like all of that stuff is built off of capitalism. It's not socialism. You just got a socialist program, and that's what I'm saying. Because I'm just, and it's not. Tiff, I see you saying I'm not okay with it. I'm saying that this is a problem, and I'm not quick to ignore and just say I'm looking at solution. I'm saying this is the way it is, and what y'all saying the solution is just saying what the problem is. You keep repeating the problem. People starving, people starving, people starving. Okay, I get people starving. Presenting me a solution because the thing is that
Because I'm gonna tell you, man,
yeah,
there are so many things in the
it's
world.
capitalism. People just slowing people up from doing these things.
No, I'm just saying, like, because like right now we're in a world of consumerism where you gotta. There's so many different things in this world that need to be done. I mean, there's so many different things that could be done outside of capitalism, and I know that you
Mhm.
want to lump it all together and say it's a terrible idea for people to go to work and make a meaningful wage and not be incentivized to be innovative, but to be able to go to work,
Mhm.
have the necessary things in life. I'm gonna tell you, man. Anytime there's minimums, anytime there's maximums, there should be minimums. Anytime there's minimums, there should be maximums. I don't even think any human should have to work
Mhm.
40 hours. Anything over 40 hours is ridiculous.
Mhm.
It is slam ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And I think that sometimes in the future, people will look back at this time. I know what's going to happen. We're going to be old men, and I'm going to sit there and say, Corey, remember I told you this. At some point in the future, people are going to look back and say, man, these people were crazy as I don't know what. They was really working 40 something hours talking about slavery ended. No, no, that's not what happened. And us sitting here right now just having the conversation that there's no better system than this. This system will not be in place 100 years
Mhm.
from now, Corey. It won't
Think it
be.
was.
It won't be.
No,
It
I
will
think
not be. It will
even if
not
we
be.
did, right? Let's say we switch to socialism. I believe socialism will fail miserably and will fall back, just like every other country that has tried it before has failed from it. So I mean, you might believe it worked, and I'm not saying that we might not get to a place where we push towards socialism. And I believe eventually, at the end of the day, we'll move back and people will trails through life because the problem is the human experience. At the end of the day, what you want is not ideal. It's not is at the end of the day, let's say what's your ideal thing? Would you be happy if nobody in the world had to work? They had a surplus of food and it was no crime and
Listen,
everything was just beautiful. I want
uh,
that too, right? That's
listen. Hey, Corey, there will be a time. There will be a
mhm.
time.
Let me see our
What?
ideal world. What's your
Listen,
ideal
listen.
world?
No, no. I'm gonna tell you this. There will be a
Mhm.
time. No matter how good of a welder you are, there will be a time where welds will be made by a machine, because
Mhm.
that machine will not need time off.
Mhm.
That machine will not have to deal with other employees. There will be
Mhm.
a machine that will do all the welding for you.
Mhm.
You will be out of a job at some point.
And I will find something else,
Hear me,
man.
hear me out. And if it's happening to welding, it'll be happening to everything else.
That's the
I
same
mean,
argument when they built the cotton gin.
okay,
Black people stopped picking cotton. Then they just said, you gonna keep black people from picking cotton. They ain't gonna find nothing else they can do.
no, no,
No. Move on.
this is it. This is it, Corey. What I'm telling you is like even you got to even understand. The other day, I downloaded a AI for writing.
Mhm.
This AI was so good that you can just put the information in and it'll write a story for you.
Yeah, they
Like,
got one right now.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying to you is we're going down a path where
Mhm.
artificial intelligence will take
Mhm.
over most of the jobs. And this
Mhm.
whole capitalism that you preach of, this
Mhm.
capitalism that is no better system, what will end up happening is when you no longer need the employees, right?
Mhm.
And you have not mitigated the system, that means the people that own the businesses that right now are just using this as passive income, having you and your time as passive income, what'll end up happening is they will have all the resources. Because right now you're not talking about a plan to spread the resources. You're talking
Mhm.
about allowing them to have all the resources, and we
Mhm.
don't need the humans to do the work anymore. So please tell me, how will your system continue to work? How will it work? It's
What I'm
stupid.
again, Hap. What I'm saying is, you keep confusing me. Like I'm for this, I'm for this. At the end of the day, if you give me 5 choices out of, let's say I only have these 5 choices, and I had to say which one I want, I'm going to pick the best one I believe. Now you can't say why you don't choose the 6 choice. It is only a few choices that you can choose to build a society on. I might not like everything about capitalism. I'm saying the other ones that you preventing are just as worse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you could present some, you just saying it, and I don't think you. Honestly, I do. I'm sorry to say this. I do not think you ever. We. That's what we probably need to do. Like really go through what socialism is, because I think you have a real thing, and look at the history of it. Because at the end of the day, you can say it's
You
wrong and
don't know
flawed.
the
You
history.
have
You don't
all
know the
right.
history.
At
You
the
don't
end
know
of
the
the
history.
day, you can take it from somebody though. Somebody had to write something. We can read all the information on it, and you can decide what you think the best information is. We can read the people that's a component for socialism, because they will mention the. They know that it's an adverse effect to it, but you're not going to say one adverse effect to it. Like it's just all positivity. I tell you, I would applaud you to do this. Like really go next time we come on. Tell me one negative thing from socialism. Because I could tell you a lot of, I would tell you negative to monopolies in capitalism, greed in capitalism, hoarding in capitalism. They are negative things for capitalism. I would tell you that it's bad things with capitalism. Yes. And it's preventative measures against it. Tell me one bad thing with socialism. If you think it's all positive, I'm telling you, you're just wrong. It's
Okay.
wrong. It's negatives to everything. You tell me one negative thing to socialism, and until you do that, I mean, I don't think you really did honest work
I'm
towards.
and I'm gonna tell you this, Core. I'm gonna tell you this on top of that. When I was sitting, because I tell you, man, my mind is never still.
Mm.
So when I was on that Chat GPT thing, you know, the first thing that came to my mind
What's
is
Chat GPT?
it's an AI, it's an artificial
Oh,
intelligence,
yeah,
which
that's
is
what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. I ain't know the name of it. I just call it AI.
okay,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you can write a
okay.
paper with it and everything.
Hey, Core, at some point, those bots will be a more reliable source than a human being
Mm-hmm.
because it can regurgitate a lot of information, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can put a lot of information in it, it can spit the information out.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, if you were to give this thing the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
it should be able to regurgitate sermons that don't have the human experience in it when it's strictly just the book,
Mm-hmm.
right? It'll strictly be just the book.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't need a pastor that's putting his spin on it or his life experiences on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it won't be no need for it.
Do you think that's a good? Do you think that's a good sermon?
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna tell you. This is why I say, like, when you change different words for certain things, then you
Not
start to
changing the words.
no, you get a different response. Now what I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you is now you're
Mm-hmm.
listening to it and you say, okay, all right, now I can see that, right? I can
Mm-hmm.
see there is a manipulation of something going on right then. So when that happens, now you can see and say, okay, this is the bigger picture. Because really what we're talking about is that AI being the pastor of the church and what we're seeing right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, something has to intervene. Something has to intervene. And you can say, oh, hemp, you don't know what the negatives of socialism.
I'm
Man,
not.
I
I'm
don't
not.
I don't
I'm not
I
saying you
don't know.
don't
I
know.
don't
I'm
have
saying
to
you're
know the
not
negatives
mentioning
of
them. You're not mentioning them. You're not breaking them up. So it's putting forth an idea that you don't, and you have not even like viewed the negative aspects of it. It could be worse. It's like I'm doing so bad in this place. Let me go here and don't know that place can kill you.
No, I'm not saying that.
It's
I'm
just
just
saying
saying
anything's better than here. No, some could be worse.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, man, when you constantly getting punched in the face, you don't have to know the negatives to not being punched in the face to know that it might be better. Like you don't have to. You don't
Mhm.
have to. You don't have to know the negatives. Like at the end of the day, the
You don't
system
have
is
to know.
extremely broken.
It
Man,
goes back to the same thing I'm saying though. If you keep saying it's so bad here, it can't. It has to be better somewhere else. No, you can actually go to somewhere worse. It's quite possible that that is another aspect. It could be someplace worse. I'm just saying it. But no, I don't think you can remove the human out of preaching. I think I'll always be able to tell you, you know what I'm saying? If you don't tell, I need, at the end of the day, to just think of my sermons are just wrote down. Like I can write a sermon without nothing about myself in it and just spit out straight scripture for you. But you might as well read the book. At the end of the day, me telling you my life experience and how I think what gets across better to people is when I tell them situations I've been through and the reason why I believe in this scripture. And I have did this with you plenty of times. I told you stories about why I believe certain scriptures, like the
I,
reason why I pay tithes, the reason why I do these things.
I definitely understand that,
Yeah.
man. I definitely get that aspect of it. But let's just be thankful. That's
Mhm.
not necessary for like manuals on how to do stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like manuals on how to do stuff, it's not like I don't read through manuals of how to put my TV up or how to put that basketball hoop up and it has life experiences to it. It's just a straight to the point saying this is
Mhm.
the manual and how you should do it. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And and as you see, you put the basketball hoop up by following the manual, and it came out pretty good. It was pretty efficient. It was pretty efficient.
Mhm. I'm not saying this. I'm saying eventually I believe just like people have evolved over time, they will constantly evolve. But I'm not saying that it's not problems with socialism. I'm saying they are. But I'm saying I just see the other problems. I mean, problems with capitalism. I just see the problem with socialism too. I see problems with both. I see problems with both. At the end of the day, I will believe I will hope that people can live in a way where they share all the resources between one another.
No, we're
But
beyond that.
I
We are
don't think it'll
beyond
be that.
we are beyond that. The only way, again, there's certain things in societies when you get to a point where it's been exploited so bad. The only thing that is left to do is to government intervene. The government intervenes in absolutely every single thing else, except for poverty. We
Mhm.
intervene in everything else except for the distribution of wealth.
What do you
Like
think that
what
is, though?
he said, why do you think that is?
Who do you think? Like, why do you don't think the government takes money from these same companies?
Man, listen, this is yeah, exactly because the whole system is broken. The system is
So
broken
how you gonna side with the government? At the end of the day, what they gonna do?
because
Is
listen, because here goes the thing, right? Like right now, the way we do business right now,
uh
it costs, and I looked it up. It costs $1 billion to run a campaign.
mm, I agree.
$1 billion to run a campaign.
I don't think it costs that. I think
It do.
most presidents became millionaires when they became president, and that's just it.
No, I'm just saying it takes $1 billion to run the campaign, from the TVs, from the traveling, from the flights, from the security, all of that stuff. There's $1 billion to run a campaign. Okay, so in order to get $1 billion, you have to get it from people who have $1 billion that can donate to you, right? So the system is so broken and so muddy because it costs so much. It's almost like when Dave Chappelle says he rapes and he saves. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what's going on. Like
Mhm.
he's a terrible human being, but he saves lives. Like that. Like the whole political process is, it costs so much to do it. It costs so much to run that you have to get donations from people, and
I
these
think that's something
people's
we'll agree with, though.
donations.
I
Say
think that's
what?
something we'll agree with. I think money should be out of politics. I think it should be a service, like something that you did just strictly for. I mean, enough to, some give you some coins in your pocket, but I don't think politicians should be millionaires and stuff like that. No, I don't think. I think you need to remove money out of politics. That's the only way to move forward.
Yeah,
What people truly want.
and it's that's something I've actually said before. It's funny that we don't think of tax breaks as government handouts. I'm gonna tell you, man. Like again, the things that you think that you know, the things that we think that we know, are based off of what people regurgitate and give back to us, right? And so the fact that we view certain things as okay and some things as taboo is because somebody wanted us to view it as okay and taboo. And that's
Mhm.
the way it works. But the truth of the matter is, like these government handouts things, it's all the same thing. The fact of the matter is, the
Mhm.
people. The fact of the matter is this: if you don't do nothing else, you got to put a cap on. You got to put a cap on the hoarding of resources. Like,
What do you mean?
there is a precedent for it. A long time ago, you remember, because you like to talk about constitutions and forefathers and all that type of stuff.
Mhm.
But you remember the reason why they said that monopolies were bad?
Yeah, I think monopolies are bad.
Okay, all right. Now, let's just change. Let's just fast forward to 2023. Like, if you don't look at what Bezos is doing,
Bezos. Yeah.
Bezos, if you don't look at it, it's the same stuff.
You could talk about an actual monopoly. An actual monopoly that exists today is
It's
Dominion Power.
Charter Communications in Suffolk. That there you go.
Well, you can
Charter
say that.
Spectrum. That's that's
Dominion
what it
Power
is.
is an actual monopoly that everybody has to get their power for them. Dominion can charge you $500 right now for your lights. You can complain about it, but there's nothing you really can do. And this is the problem with monopolies because at the end of the day, when you don't have competition, a person could drive up prices to wherever they want to because they have nobody else that can compete with lower prices. So you can complain like let's take Walmart and Food Line for instance. Walmart cannot charge $10 for a candy bar because Food Line could sell it at $2 and everybody will buy Food Line and Walmart will lose, go out of business. That's a small aspect. The main problem is the million does not have a natural competitor to compete with them. So they can charge whatever they want for your light bill. You got to pay it. There's nothing you can do because you want lights. At the end of the day, you're gonna go broke. They can take all of your money. So only thing you are working for is lights. The reason why they don't do it is because of government intervention. I would agree,
Okay.
monopolies are problems, but it is you put strings on it. But you don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. You put a cap on that. Yeah, I would
Hey,
agree.
Court.
Now we're talking about something that I can agree with.
Here you go, Court. How about this one? All right.
Uh-huh.
I remember. I'm this many years old that I can remember when Walmart was coming to the little town of Franklin. I
Mhm.
remember it, and I remember going to Ace Hardware and they being upset that Walmart was coming. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, why would you not want Walmart? Because I'm a kid and I don't know no better. And they like they come in, they kill mom and pop shops. They all go through yada yada yada
Mhm.
yada yada. I mean, they were down at the town hall. They were down at the city hall. They were making a fuss about this Walmart. They was making a fuss about it, Court. Eventually, Walmart, like always, they come through.
Mhm.
Now let's fast forward to 23. Now Walmart has hired employees. People they said that Walmart brings in employees. It generates revenue inside your communities. This that and the third. This is the thing that gets Walmart in your community. They come in, they shut down the Winn Dixies. They shut down the mom and pop hardware stores. They shut down pretty much every single. And now you know what they're doing? They're getting rid of employees. You got to check yourself out now. So
Mhm.
you've come into this ecosystem. You disrupt the entire ecosystem, and then you get rid of the employees.
Mhm.
And again, this system, there's nothing wrong with it because there's nothing better. There's nothing better. There's nothing better. There's nothing better. Listen, I'm gonna tell you the way that things work. They multiply over years. They get worse. And if you're not even willing to have real conversations about what's going on right now and have an interest in changing what the status quo is, it will only get worse in the future.
Mhm.
Walmart is they are the alpha. Like the beta that comes out the Walmart will be even more ruthless.
Mhm.
The Charlie will be even more ruthless than that, and the Delta worse than that. So again, I think that you say that there's nothing better. I don't know. I know this don't work.
I agree, but that's your argument is based around things can't be much worse somewhere else, but it could be. It very well could be worse, right or wrong. You could say right now everything inside of that room you in is terrible. And you can say, "Man, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here." But you can walk outside of your room into something worse. You don't know, but until you look at the aspect of it, just really look at socialism. I really implore you to do that. But at the end of the day, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's always equally problems on one side. Now, I'm okay. At the end of the day, they can do whatever. They can move towards socialism. They can move away from socialism. It really, at the end of the day, I'm just saying I don't believe it'll work. I'm just telling you. Like another thing, I do believe in inflation, and I tell you the only way to fix inflation, this is gonna be kind of prophetic. They're going to do a massive cut of jobs. The only way to fix inflation is to cut the workers. You can do that to drive down price. Eventually, you're going to see a mass exodus of work, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to fire a lot of people from jobs to equal it out. So a lot of people are going to have to suffer to get things back down, and that's what's going to happen. And I mean, you're seeing it throughout society. History tells the truth. This ain't the first time that happened.
Oh yeah, hey, Corey, I don't know if you paying attention, but I'm seeing it, man. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you go to places and they just be closed. They be closed strictly because they ain't got employees to cover the shift. I took
Mm.
my dog to the groomer today. PetSmart. PetSmart shut down at 2:30. The grooming department because they don't have nobody to watch them dogs back there. This is happening all over America. People gonna rise up and they're gonna wise up. I ain't saying they're gonna rise up, but they're gonna wise up and realize that I go to work every day and I'm still poor. Why do it? Why do it? I am wasting my time at this place because I am still poor. And so yeah, I mean something's gonna change, Corey. But it's been fun, man. But I think we get close to out of time on this episode of Time.
Yeah. I want y'all to read this. Google the US must get to 7.5% unemployment for inflation to go down. And y'all read the aspects of that and how that's a number that been put out. I think it got to be twice as much as what the inflation percentage is to drive it down. If you look at that the way that works, and that's where we're gonna have to go. And it's gonna be hard for a lot of people. It may be quite possible to me because I'm a contractor, so I'm gonna have to try to find a way to get a job too, just like everybody else. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think people find a way. I might be out of a job, and guess what? I find a way.
Man, you put that burden on knowing that there's somebody that is going to capitalize off of your loss. Yeah,
I don't think
but
I don't. You looking at it as capitalize off my
no,
loss.
it's out of control to me, man. Anytime I hear the word economy, this is what I
Mhm,
think about. The word comes to mind: rich person yacht money.
mhm,
That's all the word economy means to me. Economy from a macro from the level that they talk about the economy, no bearing on me.
mhm,
Don't care.
mhm.
But rich people yacht money, they care. Investments, they care. I carry it at my level, and they can't make me care at the level that they needed to care at. I
Mhm.
can't. I can't.
I'm
I
not
can't.
saying that. I'm
I
not
can't
even
feel
saying that.
bad for billionaires. I can't feel bad for billionaires. I
When
can't.
did you
Can't
do
do it.
you are you insinuating that I just said that? I didn't saying I'm saying this is what's going
No,
to happen.
you're
And
saying
the
like,
program,
oh, gee golly, man, they gotta lay off. We have to
no,
have
that's not what I'm
we
saying.
have to have 7.65% of the population be poor in order for the economy to get back on track. Like
That's it.
rich people
Like
yacht money.
rewind it. Please rewind this and ask me did I say it. I said throughout history, unemployment has the rises to twice as much as what the percentage of inflation is to get inflation down. I'm saying this is what's going to happen. I'm not happy about it. No, I'm saying that this is what is going to happen. Now, me saying I'm happy about it is putting a whole spin on it and saying that's what I'm pushing towards. That's no. I'm saying this is what's going to happen.
And
And
so
that's
how they
just
gonna
like it's saying it's going to rain tomorrow and saying, oh, you wishing it's going to rain tomorrow. No, I'm saying it's going to rain tomorrow. That's all I'm saying. We got to deal with the mud. It's going to be a whole lot of things that's going to be problems from this. But this is what's going to happen. I'm sorry to tell you that, but that's the only way that's
okay,
going to be.
and so how they gonna do it? They're gonna restrict money. They're gonna stop printing money. They're gonna stop giving out loans. How they gonna do it, Corey?
No, they're going to push.
How they gonna make our masters lay us off? How they gonna
I
do
think,
it?
I think, I
I'm asking. I want to know.
hey, listen, I mean, like, if we do, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. Honestly, look at what I said and read up on it and see if what I'm saying is wrong. Because arguing with me as
I'm
an
not
aspect
arguing
of
with you.
like is that I'm pushing it or I'm being negative towards this. I'm saying throughout history, the way that inflation has went down is because unemployment had to reach twice as much as what inflation was to get it down, and that has always been that way throughout history. But yeah, I mean, it really ain't a problem because you said you don't believe in inflation. You don't believe inflation is the thing, so it really don't even matter.
I believe it's a scarce thing. But look, man, I'm about to make it worse tomorrow because tomorrow teaching the kids how to do a lemonade stand. If everything goes as planned tomorrow, like we talked about in one of the future episodes, so I'm actually going to make the unemployment rate go the other way. I'm about to
Mm,
put these babies to work.
mm.
I'm about to I'm about to increase inflation. I'm about to teach them how to make lemons, and the wife gonna put the budget together for the kids and all types of stuff. We're gonna teach them how to earn a buck.
That's
I,
a great it's a great motivation right there, man.
teach them the capitalist way.
Nah, I ain't saying that. I think
Because I would
at the
prefer
end
to
of the
give
day,
the I would prefer
there
to
is
give the
a
lemonade away.
there is a fix. I do believe there is a fix. At the end of the day, the ideal way is for people to participate in capitalism. At the end of the day, it's for you to find something like right now. Hemp is a relative, right? So the ideal way for hemp to get out of the way that he does it, and I use myself for the example as a welder. So my idea is I have a trade in welding. So for me, I would buy my own welder, and I would find people that need my business, and I would hire more people that do well, and I would buy the equipment for welding, and then I would start my own company, and then I would build. It's to participate, and I could take loans out to get this stuff and take risks, and then I would gravitate towards that.
Mm,
That's the ideal situation for people to get out of the situation is to actually participate in capitalism. But
got it.
yeah, I mean, you could
But
start your own real
those guys,
estate.
you're right. And those
What?
guys you're gonna hire, right?
Uh,
How much you gonna pay those guys?
how much I'm gonna pay 'em?
Man, because you gotta hire these people, right?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what the market rate is, how much you can make.
It depends on what
It's saying how much
you
I'm
gonna
gonna
pay
pay
them. You
them.
gonna pay them with the other welder slaves make. That's what you gonna figure out what the other welder slaves make, and then
You
I'm gonna
don't
pay
want to
them
have
that amount.
you don't want to have an actual conversation.
No, I'm just saying like the whole concept of now I got to figure out what the market value is for these guys. This, that, and the third. Like it is such. This whole system is broken, bro. The whole system is broken.
You're right.
Like even we're having a hypothetical conversation, and you're talking about screwing over some people that don't even exist in real life. Like,
I'm saying do
they
you look
don't
at
even exist in
you
real
look at
life.
everybody that works as being screwed?
Yeah, yeah.
So then you fundamentally have a problem with people working. You
It's
don't want
probably
people to work.
it's probably it, man. Because see,
So let
you
me
know what?
ask you, what ideal world do you see where a person doesn't work for a living?
No, this is how I feel about it, right?
Mhm.
I figure if the concept, you know what? Let's go back to this, man. And this because I guess this is where it starts for me. I learned a while back that do you know that Manhattan, uh, the Native Americans sold Manhattan.
Yeah, because I think I'm the one that told you this.
No, I told you this.
Nah,
I
you
read
ain't
it.
tell
No,
me that.
I read it. I read. When did you tell the story? If you told it to me, you tell the
I
story.
heard Dave Chappelle say this on, I think it was Joe Rogan or another. He said this as a late night TV show a long time ago. That's where I got it from. I ain't get it
Well,
from you. Dave Chappelle
okay.
said this
Well,
thing.
then we saw the same thing, so I read it.
Yeah,
So they
they didn't
sold
understand the
Manhattan.
concept of
They
money
did not understand the concept that a
of people
person
own land.
could own a piece of land.
Yeah.
And I think the word Manhattan may mean silly
Crazy
man.
white man.
Oh, crazy white
Crazy white
man.
man.
Like, yeah, so
You
it
don't
was,
want to sail the sky too? Want to buy the
yeah,
sky too?
yeah, want one of these clouds, you know what I'm saying? Take one of these,
Mercedes.
you want one of these clouds, let's say that cloud, say this
Yeah.
land. You want that river down the street, you
Yeah.
get that too.
Yeah.
So it's sold for some cheap amount. It might have been like $64 or something silly, right? Something silly.
Mhm.
The whole concept of it. But fast forward to now. All right, so you own a piece of land, right? And you decide that you want to create an apple orchard. You know what I'm saying? You got an apple orchard. You start off and you are picking the apples yourself. You're selling the apples. Um, you end up using that money to plant more apple seeds instead, and eventually you end up with more trees than you can manage yourself, right?
Mhm.
So you
You gotta
hire a
hire
person.
somebody.
So you hire a person, right? And usually the problem comes with the first guy you hire, right? What percentage should that guy get if he's doing the work? Because in your mind, you're saying that, because if you're saying that the farmer deserves to be greedy because he prioritizes his idea, this should be apples to be sold.
Mhm.
The fact of the matter is, if that gentleman is doing the same amount of work as you,
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
then why do you have to give him so little?
And that's why I was trying to get to that point. We could have probably skated to that point when I proposed the question. You go back. I said, "What? How much? Who's more valuable? The person that makes the machine that make the pencils, or the person that puts the lead in the pencil?" So I mean, I should have probably made it more smaller than that, so that we can dance off that whole situation. What you're saying now, and that's why I think that's why I say go to the streams to make it plain as possible. All right, the person that sacrificed his life to get this piece of land, to peel this thing, got the idea, all of this stuff is something of value. And think that's the same as the man that just came in. That what happened to you weren't with me when I was shooting in the gym. Like you weren't with me when I bought this piece of land, when I slaved and built this thing, and you come in and think that you receiving 50% of what I gave is just ridiculous. You can admit that's
No,
ridiculous.
I'm not saying that
So
he
how
should
much?
receive.
No, I'm
He
not.
should not receive 50% of what you make,
I agree.
but he should
You should let
receive
me receive.
50%
You
of the
should let me finish.
profits.
You should let me finish.
Oh, go ahead.
What
Finish.
I'm
Finish.
saying
Finish.
is, I'm just saying, I'm not saying 50. I'm just saying you would agree that it shouldn't be 50. But the question is, how much did he put in? Especially when I could bring somebody else in equally enough that will put in the same amount. How much has he added over another individual? Because at the end of the day, if I can bargain with an individual, let's say if you came in, you said you'll help me for 50. And I say, all right, I'll think about it. Somebody else come in and say, I do it for 40. All right, let me see. Somebody else come in and say, I do it for 30. And then eventually the market rate is going to be set at wherever the lowest person would do it for. Right or wrong?
That's right. So if a guy says he'd do it for a penny, let's get that.
Do you tell him no though? Let me ask you this.
Yes, Corey.
Let,
Yes.
let me ask you this. You ever got work done on your house?
Yeah.
Do you get the highest person to do it? Do you find the highest amount of money? Do you go out there to choose the most amount? No, you get the cheapest.
I don't get the cheapest.
Cheapest with the best quality
I
versus
don't
best
do the
quality.
cheapest. I didn't learn the hard way.
What
about
what
that. I don't do the cheapest.
you don't do the cheapest. What aspects do you look into when you choose who's
I'm
going to
choosing
do the work?
I'm doing the
Quality
of
versus. All right, so
Quality.
the quality of the person that can help with picking those trees versus the lowest amount of money, you're going to add that in. You're not going to pay somebody more just because, right or wrong. So it's the same aspect. It's just it's the same as that thing. At the end of the day, I pay that person the 50 if he can put out more apple, if he can pick more trees than the other person they're doing it for 10. I pay him 50. It depends. But I'm gonna evaluate cost versus work versus quality. That's at the end of the day. You're gonna look at it.
Even if he make it so little, he got to steal some of your apples to survive.
Huh?
Even if he's making so little that he has to steal some of your apples to feed himself. Oh, he has to work at another. He got to work at another orchard on his off time.
You're looking at it like
It's out of control. It's out of control, Corey.
I'm not saying that you going to we was at a good place and
We are at a good place, man.
You
We
tossed
are.
it out there because I was beginning to get you to understand the things with it. At the end of the day, if I sacrifice my life to build this company. Let's say I did build this. Let's say I did what Northrop Grumman did, and I build this corporation from the ground up, sacrificed all of my stuff, blood, sweat, and tears, got all the way down there, and I'm just supposed to give it away to somebody else that came in yesterday. You weren't with me
Sounds-
when I was shooting in the gym,
Hey,
and
Corey,
you would agree with it.
and before I go to these comments, I'm gonna tell you, it sounds Christian to me. Sounds Christian to me. All right, so Tiffany says, "Do you lock them up for stealing to eat?" All right,
Uh,
read the parable of the talents. I have not
What's
read
up?
that, but I will.
You
I
never read it?
will. I don't think I have. Maybe, but I don't. I don't. I can't recall off the top of my head. Or the hired workers. I don't think I've read that either. Let's
Yeah.
see. Todd, he said, "I don't know how we went to socialism, but I know this is short and we have to work while it's still day. That is
Let's get it,
when
man.
no man can
My
work."
bad, guy.
Yeah, yeah, it's all good, man. It is all good because the last thing I want us to do is all be a part of that unemployment. All right, so
I think that should be the next episode. I can explain what I mean by that.
hey, we can do it, man. But let's go ahead, let's wrap this thing up, man, because
All right.
we're 26 minutes in. What you
All
got?
right. All right, man. Peace. Really read the parable of the talents, man. It's really one man stored it up, one man sold it and used it. It's a good parable. All parables in the Bible are good. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in. At the end of the day, I mean, I think if I would like him to really look at socialism really from an aspect of its problems, and then he might feel the way I feel. Maybe.
Never.
Yeah, maybe.
Never, man. I got
maybe
that. I got that Fred Hampton blood in me, man. I can't do it. But I will say thank you for rocking with us today. I love y'all, and as always, love yours. We out.
Peace.